Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling Review Series, November 18th, 1995. Very close to the end of the series in general. I think they were done with first run stuff in less than a year from now, which makes me sad because I grew up on Superstars. Jim Ross and Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler are your commentators for this time period. There's a few squash matches, which is what we're here to cover. A couple of matches that actually do matter. A lot of it, though, is a highlight package series for Raw, which even in 1995 was their primary program. Enhancement match from Davey Boy Smith, aka the British Bulldog. Bulldog alongside Jim Cornette. Bulldog had made a heel turn approximately 2 months before this on Diesel, and still trying to find himself as a heel here. Eventually going into a program with Shawn Michaels within about 6 months of this time frame. But anyway, hanging vertical suplex, power slam, and it's over. Bulldog, and this is right before the Survivor Series of 95, which was a decent little Survivor Series. They talk a lot about, there's some hype of Fatu and Mabel and others talking about the upcoming Bret Hart and Diesel match. At Survivor Series, of course, Hart ends up winning. The heels even are split over who's going to win the match. Video package of Hart and Diesel. At this point, this, to me, the best match that Diesel ever had, Kevin Nash ever had, might very well either be his the two Shawn Michaels matches he had, both one at WrestleMania 11 and one Good Friends, Better Enemies, and the Bret Hart match. So, easily the Bret Hart match of 95 in the top three matches he ever had. In terms of quality matches, I think Diesel had a very limited bunch of folks. Maybe Scott Hall added to the list, but there's very few people that could get good matches out of Kevin Nash. Anyway, back to the arena we go after a recap of a interview segment from Monday Night Raw, which when I do the Raw series, I'll cover that there. I'm not doing it here. Anyway, Hakushi is here. Hakushi coming in about April or May of 95. I think he's left by 96. He only lasts about a good 6 to 8 months here. Hakushi, of course, Jinsei Shinzaki, who later shows up in ECW for a cup of coffee and a couple of maybe one pay-per-view and a couple of TVs. But anyway, he does a lot of athletic stuff, handsprings, kicks, jumps and the like. He does the full body tattoo series of fake tattoos. They are fake, A, because obviously you see him later without them, and B, he actually did some house shows without the body tattoos. I actually went to one where he did the non-chest tattoo thing. So anyway, he pretty well breaks down the enhancement match pretty simply. Back leg heel kick. Almost, I think at the time had they kind of done a different presentation with him. Mortal Kombat, I think, came out 94, between 94 and 96. Had they given him a more Mortal Kombat-ish character and had somebody outside of Shinto, something like that, as his manager, and had they given him a decent manager and a kind of a comic book character type thing, I honestly think he could have gone further. Also, the idea at the time, at least according to the Bruce Pritchard podcast, among others, was to have him work with The Undertaker, but was too small. Odd here that in 1995, enhancement talent actually gets a couple of offensive moves, including a double underhook suplex on him, which, I mean, that'll tell you too, you know, how serious somebody is about pushing a guy if you're giving an enhancement talent major offensive maneuvers. Punches, kicks, and body slams, not a big deal, but a suplex, that's a pretty big deal. Handspring elbow, kind of like Muda, and a flying forearm by Hakushi. He then goes to the top rope and nails a decent looking shoulder tackle um, for his victory and ultimately gets a win. So, I mean, he had not turned babyface as of yet. That was still yet to come. And they go to a hype area with the. They go to a hype area with the Survivor Series stuff. Then they talk about the turn of the 1-2-3 Kid, aka Sean Waltman, on his friend Razor Ramon, aka Scott Hall. We come back to one of the few Dean Douglas um, enhancement talent matches, which these are rare because he was only there for 2 or 3 months. And again, enhancement talents hitting offensive maneuvers, hip tosses and drop kicks. Dean Douglas, of course, coming off of his ECW run, and he's back there by the beginning of '96. But anyway, suplexes, double edge, or double chops, and the like. A leaping kick that looks like garbage from the top rope. And Douglas was a guy who I actually believed was going to be a pretty big deal. He gets a victory off of a very simple maneuver and 1-2-3. Then, of course, Jerry Lawler's team coming up at the Survivor Series talks about their upcoming match with the Undertaker's team. I'm not even going to run through the promo because honestly, the match was so inconsequential. It was there to highlight the Undertaker and let him wrestle with the BSK. We move into a match with Goldust and Bob Sparkplug Holly, which was very good for its time. Competitive match. Goldust been around for about a month. He's still finding himself, not doing as much with the androgyny stuff. Punches, kicks, and really basic stuff. And then we kind of see Holly fight back. Goldust hits a nice running lariat and still does a lot of psychology at this point, doing the blonde hair after the wig, kind of a flat top, and then the full body suit, the gold ears, and the gold face paint. Goes to a chin lock, holds him down, ducks the head, does a bit of a comeback. Goldust looks like he's going to fall to Bob Holly. They get literally probably about 8 or 10 minutes out of the match. Goldust eventually does do a front falling suplex. 1-2-3, and victory. To victory we go. Shawn Michaels does a promo where he, kind of a video package promo, he talks about basically having to be the guy to steal the show every night, wants people to remember his name. Ahmed Johnson here in an enhancement challenge match, which is weird because he does a lot of power stuff, but at the same time he shakes hands with the enhancement talent early in the match, which is just ridiculous. You've got a 6'6", 275, 285-pound guy shaking hands with an enhancement talent. Enhancement talent jumps him, and then Ahmed no-sells a clothesline. He no-sells getting punched in the face, comes back, hits a Pearl River plunge, and gets a victory in quick order. That is the end of this particular episode. We'll be back with a few more of these throughout the evening. And keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.